Hello, Grand Park community. It's Courtney. Welcome to your Yoga Ala retreat. I'm really glad you're here to practice with me today. And this week, we're going to focus on both grounding and anchoring. So the Yoga Sutras talk a lot about being in the here and the now, about being in the truth of things, being with what's actually going on, not attaching, not clinging. So a way that we can physically do this in our body is to really feel our feet on the ground or whatever's touching earth, touch earth. So we're going to focus on that this week. Today, we're going to be thinking of it as grounding. So really making sure our feet are fully on the earth, or whatever is touching the earth is fully on the earth. So I invite you here to find a seat. So sitting maybe up in a chair, maybe down on the earth, and then just allow your body to settle. So maybe resting your palms down on your thighs, maybe up on your thighs, softening your eyes closed. And just notice if you're gripping or holding yourself up in any way. It's totally okay if you are. Just notice if you're doing that, and then allow the body to both soften and settle down. So first, with our grounding here, just notice what is touching the ground. And the ground might be the seat of your chair. And then really allow the chair or the earth to hold you up. And from that holding you up, can you rise your heart and settle your shoulders away from your ears? Can you soften your jaw? Can you allow the tongue to be heavy inside your mouth? And then from here, we're just going to start our physical practice with breath. So first, just noticing how you're breathing. Maybe noticing where the breath is filling into the body. So is it filling into your chest? Is it filling into your belly? Is it really shallow and not really filling into anything? And can you, from whatever's touching the earth, let the breath grow into the rest of the body? So maybe thinking of the breath starting at your seat and filling into the very top of your head. So just take a few full body breaths through your nose and out your nose. So breathing from your seat, letting the breath touch every part of the body, all the way to the top of the head, the fingertips, the toe tips. And then as you exhale, let the breath release from your nose. One more time. Deep inhale from your seat, filling into all parts of the body. And then as you exhale, release. If your eyes are closed, soften them open. And let's find our way to hands and knees. So we're really going to focus today on grounding down into whatever is touching the earth. So here, allow your knees to touch the earth. Allow your palms to spread wide. The wrists are underneath the shoulders. Tops of the feet are down. And you might feel some or all of your shins touching the earth. So really spread the fingers wide here. So we're going to focus on having a nice wide foundation. Press into your knuckles. Lift up out of your shoulders. Scoop your belly into your spine. Your neck is in line with your spine. Feel what's touching earth. And as you inhale, gentle press down into whatever's touching earth to grow your heart tall. So we'll pause here in our cow. So can you work with the floor to rise yourself up away from the floor? Take a few breaths in your cow pose. And then the next time you exhale, press into your knuckles, round your belly button towards your nose. Press into those knuckles to lift into the shoulders. Let your chin fall into your chest. Let your head be heavy and drop. And then we're just gonna connect those movements with our breath. So feel whatever's touching earth, ground it down. As you inhale, belly drops, heart rises. As you exhale, round in your spine, nose comes in towards belly button, head drops. Inhale, belly drops, heart rises. Exhale, curl in your spine. Inhale, belly drops, heart rises. Exhale, curl into your spine. One more round. Inhale, belly drops, heart rises. And then exhale, curl into your spine. Find a neutral spine. Keep your knees where they are. Extend your arms into a big V overhead. Fingers are spread wide. Tap either your forehead or the top of your head to the earth. You can always put a pillow or something underneath your forehead if it doesn't naturally touch. That's a great option. And then melt your heart towards the earth. Armpits are hugging in, so the arms are really active here. We're getting into a big upper back stretch. Let whatever is touching down touch. So your palms are down, the forehead or top of the head is down, the tops of your feet, your knees, maybe some of your shins. Let that be something to ground down into the earth so you can settle into the pose. From here, replace your hands underneath your shoulders, press into your palms, lift yourself up, and then we'll take the knees at least as wide as your hips, probably wider. Big toes come together to touch, sink your hips back for your heels. If they don't touch, you could put a blanket or something underneath your seat, a pillow, and then walk your arms up and overhead. Let your forehead settle down again. So again, you could have a pillow underneath your seat. You could have a pillow underneath your forehead. Let yourself connect and ground down. So notice what is touching earth here and really let it touch down. Let your breath fill in. From here, we'll walk our hands over about a foot towards the right, and then think about sinking down towards your left heel, and then start to sink your hip down towards your left heel. So we're getting into a big side body stretch, left side body. Feel whatever's touching the earth again here. Let it be your grounding so that you can settle into the pose. Walking back to center, arms come up and over to the left about a foot, sink down towards your right heel. Feel whatever's touching earth, let that ground you down to soften and expand into the stretch. Coming back to center. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders. We're gonna come to stand up on the knees. We're gonna keep the knees wide, big toes come together to touch. We're gonna come into a balance here. So interlace your hands to the base of your spine. Send your interlace back away from your chest. Your arms do not have to be straight. And then settle your forehead down, maybe the top of your head down. Little balance on the top of your head. So try to put a small amount of pressure, but not kind of weighing into the head. So the shoulders are coming away from the ears. Feel whatever's touching earth. Ground that down. Let that be the root, the anchor of the posture. How's your breath? Let it fill in. And then on your next inhale, press down into your knees. Slowly come on up. And then release your hands, walk them forward. Let's make our way into our first downward facing dog. So we'll tuck the toes. We'll send the hips up and back. The arms are shoulders width, maybe a little wider. If your shoulders are tight today, you can always take your arms wider. You can always bend your knees. I recommend it, especially early in the practice. So here, inner arms hugging in. So inner arms spiraling in towards your ears. Press into your knuckles to keep the weight out of the wrists. Heart is melting back for the thighs. Heels are reaching towards the earth, but they never have to get there. Hips are drawing towards the sky. And then let your head go. Let the breath fill in here. Feel whatever is touching the earth and let it touch the earth. So use the grounding in your hands and the balls of your feet as your anchor, as your grounding. From here, on an inhale, roll forward to a plank. You can set your knees down if you need. And then as you exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, forward to a plank. Exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back for your feet. You might want to take your feet slightly wider than your hips. Maybe the fingertips dangle. Maybe you grab opposite elbows. Let your head go, whatever you choose. And then really notice how you're distributing the weight in your feet. So are you putting the weight into the heels? Are you putting the weight forward into the balls of the feet? Are your inner arches or your outer arches taking more weight? See if you can allow the entire sole of both your feet to take the weight of the body so that one area is not taking more than another. So it might help to think of gluing your feet to the ground, maybe even spreading your toes wide. And then take your hands to your shins. We're going to come into 3 halfway lifts. So from your feet, grounding down. Inhale, reach your heart forward, flat-ish back. As you exhale, forward fold. Release your head. Breath and movement. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Feel your feet connected to the earth. Press down into your feet and start to roll yourself up to a stand. So we're still maybe in a little bit of a wide-legged stance. If you're not in that stance, take your feet a little wider than your hips. Hands come to your hips. Ground your feet down to the earth, and we're just going to start to make some big hip circles. Keep some bend in your knees. So almost like you were drawing a big circle with your tailbone. And then switch the direction of the circle the other way. From here, come back to center. Take your feet hips distance, so in a little bit. If you want to measure, you could take your fists, place them between your feet, and that's about the approximate measurement of hips distance. So palms come to face forward, shoulders come away from the ears. Grow your heart up towards the sky. Feel your feet grounding down into the earth. From here, inhale, rise your arms, feel your feet rooted down. As you exhale, draw your hands into your heart. One more time like that. From your heart, rise your arms, ground your feet. Exhale, hands come into your heart. This time we're going to inhale, rise the arms tall, hold there. Feel especially your right foot grounding down into the earth. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Press down into your right heel and then reach up and over towards the left. So we're getting into the right side body here. And the stretch comes from stability. So it comes from grounding down into the right heel. It comes from extending out from the right heel. As you inhale, make your way back to center, ground down especially into your left heel. Grab your left wrist with your right hand, and then reaching up and over towards the right from the stability of your left heel. So big line of stretch, of energy, of stability and breath from your left heel to your left fingertips. Inhale back to center. Keep your feet as they are. We're going to sink back to chair pose. So send your hips back and down so that you can see your toes. So if your knees are beyond your toes, you're going to want to send your hips down. So it's like you're sitting into a little itty bitty chair. Arms are spiraling in. Fingertips are reaching away from your shoulders. Notice what's touching the earth, so especially the heels here. So the toes are light actually. Feel the grounding in your heels to allow you to sink into this pose. And then as you exhale, extend your legs, let your head go. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, hands come down. Let's step it back to plank again. So plank can be knees down or knees up. Ground down into your knuckles, lift up out of your shoulders. Feel what's touching here. Scoop your belly into your spine. As you exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Looking towards your hands, right foot steps for right hand. Back foot spins flat to a 45-degree angle. We're going to set it up nice and slow. Right knee is stacked over right ankle. The outer edge of your back foot is pressing and grounding into the earth. Arms come to the side like wings. Before you come up, feel whatever's touching the earth. So the feet, press down into the feet to rise yourself up, warrior one. Right hip reaching back. Outer edge of your back foot firmly pressing down. So if you need more stability, maybe walking your right foot out to the right to create more space and more of a foundation for your stance. Settle your gaze on a single point. Settle your breath. And then as you exhale, hands go down, step it back, plank. Downward facing dog. Other side, left foot goes to left hand. Back foot spins flat, 45. Left knee is over the left ankle. Arms come to the side like wings. Heart beaming forward, fingertips reaching back. Outer edge of back foot pressing down, entire left foot pressing down. And then from pressing down, rise yourself up. Warrior one on the left. Left hip reaching back. If you're feeling a little wobbly, try taking your left foot out to the left. So that just creates more space in the hips, more stability, more of a foundation in the pose. How's your breath? As you exhale, hands go down, step it back, plank, downward facing dog. Right foot steps for right hand again. This time we're gonna stay up on the ball of the back foot. So we're coming up for Crescent Lunge. You have the option to tap your left knee down at any time. Arms come to the side like wings, heart beaming forward, fingertips reaching back, right knee stacked over right ankle. We're on the ball of the back left foot. Press into the ball of the back foot and the entire sole of the right foot. Rise your arms up, Crescent Lunge. Shoulders come away from the ears, breath fills in. Ground down to rise the arms away from the foundation of this pose. So use your feet, the connection of the feet, and then grow your fingertips tall. One more breath. Exhale, hands go down, plank, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps for left hand. We're on the ball of the back foot. Remember, you can tap your right knee down at any point. Fingertips go back, heart reaches forward. Feel the entire sole of the left foot grounding down, the entire ball of the back foot. Press down, grow tall, settle your gaze. If your low back is a little crunchy, you can bend your right knee a little bit or tap the right knee down. Find your breath. Ground into what's touching earth and grow yourself tall from that stability. As you exhale, hands go down, left foot steps back, plank, downward facing dog. This time, right foot steps in between the hands, back foot spins to a 45-degree angle, approximately heel to arch alignment, and then we're gonna open up to Warrior Two. So the right leg is forward, we're sinking into the right hip, the hips are reaching towards the left side. Reach your fingertips out away from your ears. How's your breath? Feel your feet grounding down into the earth. Let that be the thing that holds you up, almost like the legs of a table, the legs of a chair. Let your legs be the foundation to hold the pose. As you exhale, hands come to frame the foot. Step your right foot back, plank, down dog. From here, inhale, left foot steps in between the hands, back foot spins flat, heel to arch alignment approximately. Arms reach out from your shoulders. Settle your gaze over your left middle finger, hips open to the right. How's your breath? As you exhale, hands come to frame left foot. Step your left foot back, downward facing dog. So we'll pause here for a few breaths. You're also welcome to come into child's pose if you need. From here, we're gonna step the right foot in between the hands again. We're coming into Warrior Two. We'll add a little bit here. So first, feel your feet as the foundation for the pose. Settle into your breath. Steady your gaze over your right middle finger. On your inhale, lengthen your right leg. Send your hips towards the back. Reach your right fingertips forward. Right hand comes down. Left arm reaches tall to the sky. Feel your feet as you're grounding, as your anchor. Reach that left arm tall to the sky. Keep that bottom arm really light if it's resting on the shin. Inhale back to warrior two, bend your right knee. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up and back. So reverse warrior, feel your feet as you're grounding, as the stability. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, hands go down, step it back, plank, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps between the hands, back foot spins flat. Warrior two on your left, gazing over your left middle finger. How's your breath? Feel your feet. Let the feet hold the pose up. Next, inhale, lengthen your left leg straight, hips go back, left fingertips go forward, left hand taps down, right arm reaches tall to sky. So the left bottom hand is super light. We're not kind of gripping or pressing. We're lifting up with belly strength to send the heart towards the right hand. Inhale back to warrior two. And then exhale, right hand goes down, left arm reaches to the sky, heart reaching up for the ceiling. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale to lengthen. The left toes come in to face the right. So we're in a big, wide straddle pose. Heels are slightly out, toes are slightly in, hands are to hips. Feel your feet as the thing that's holding up the pose. Send your heart tall to the sky, and then exhale to a fold. Let your head go. You can keep your hands on your hips, send your shoulders away from your ears, or if it's accessible, you can tap your hands down to the earth. So let your feet hold the pose, let your breath fill in. Take your hands to your hips. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, press into your feet, come all the way up. Heel toe your feet so that they're a little bit wider than your hips. Heels come in this time, toes go out, and then we'll sink down into our yoga squat. So this pose, there's all kinds of options. So this might not be accessible in your body. You could put something underneath your heels if your heels are way up. Try to bring the earth closer to you. So don't try to cause strain. There's no need into like forcing it to look like something. If you're not grounding down, you're not allowing the body to settle, to stretch open. So maybe something underneath the heels. If your bottom is kind of like sticking out, maybe you come to sit on something. So you might put like a cushion or a blanket underneath your seat. And if this is just not right for your body, you can come to a seat on the earth. Draw your hands into your heart and then lift your heart tall. So feel the feet grounding down to rise the heart tall here. And if you're seated on your bottom, you could still draw the hands into the heart and rise your heart tall to the sky. We're gonna add a twist. Left hand goes down, right arm reaches tall to the sky on the inhale. Maybe you look up, maybe eye level, maybe down at your extended left hand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right hand goes down, left arm goes tall. Inhale, hands go to center, rise your heart tall. Take your hands behind you, come on down to a seat. Soles of feet come together, knees come wide. Take your feet in as close to the body as you can still breathe, so meeting a little bit of tension with breath, not straining. Rise your heart tall. You can stay, you could place your hands behind your hips, or you could start to fold if that creates more space in your inner thighs. Whatever you choose, feel what's touching earth. Let that ground the pose and then move the breath through the pose. Maybe soften your eyes closed. Really start to focus on lengthening your exhale. So the exhale is where we release tension, where we press out stale energy to make room for new energy. If you're folded, next inhale, lift yourself up. Send your feet a little bit farther away from you so you have more of either a square or a diamond between your legs. Hands come maybe below your knees to your shins or your ankles. Rise your heart. This might be enough. Or you start to melt your heart forward any amount. Same thing. Feel what's touching earth. So maybe the sides of your feet, your bottom. Let that be the thing that grounds you down so that you can move breath through. If you're folded, on your inhale, rise yourself up. Keep your right foot in, extend your left leg out. So we're gonna come into a back stretch and a hamstring stretch. You do not have to have your left leg extended straight. If that feels good, great. If not, great. Take care of yourself. Frame your hands around your extended left leg. Left shoulder's reaching back here. Heart is reaching towards your left pinky toe. Option to stay here if you're feeling a lot of stretch in your back and your hamstring, or any amount start to reach your heart for your pinky toe. So there's definitely a twist here. So the twist will create some opening in the back. Soften your jaw here, soften your shoulders down. Let the breath move through. Allow whatever's touching the earth to touch the earth. As you inhale, if you're folded, rise yourself up. Switch the legs so the left foot comes in towards the body, the right leg extends out. Hands come to frame your extended right leg. Right shoulder's reaching back, so that twist is going to create a nice opening in the back. So from here, remember, you can bend your knee any amount. You can stay right here and breathe. If you're noticing some tightness, focus on those exhales to release, or any amount starting to fold your heart toward your right pinky toe. Let your chin fall into your chest. Let your body ground down and let the breath move through. As you inhale, rise yourself up. This time we'll take both legs together, so we're in an L shape. Again, your knees can be bent a whole lot. You could put a blanket underneath the back of your thighs. Find length and extension in your spine. And then remember, bending your knees any amount, fold your heart towards your toes, let your chin fall into your chest. Soften your jaw. This time you can round in your spine a little or a lot. Let your body settle down. And then here, notice what's touching earth. So the entire backs of the legs, the heels, maybe the palms. And instead of kind of resisting or gripping or holding up, can you soften down towards the floor? Can you allow your chin, gravity to melt you down? Can you allow breath to move on through? Slow down the breath. Next inhale, rise yourself up. Bend your knees, place the soles of your feet to the earth. Lift up in your heart, arms are extending out from your shoulders. And then keeping your belly scooped in towards your spine, set yourself down. Feel each little part of yourself connecting to the earth. From here, allow your body to find a comfortable position on the earth. So that might mean that the soles of the feet rest down and your knees bend up over your heels. That could mean that you lengthen your legs straight. Place your palms up towards the ceiling, down by the hips, and then physically send your shoulders away from the ears. So maybe a little tuck of your shoulders. Soften your eyes closed. Soften your jaw. And then allow your back body to meet the earth. So notice the parts of you that are touching the earth. So maybe the back of the head, the back of the palms, the legs or the feet, the back. And really allow it to soften down. Let yourself be held by the floor. We're going to finish by taking a few breaths together. So let your exhale move all the way out. Through your nose, sip in breath for 2, 3, 4. Pause your breath. 2, 3, 4. Release your breath from your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold out. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Pause breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause out. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause your breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold out. 2, 3, 4. And then allow your breath to come back into your body however it wants. Allow your body to sink into the earth. And we're just going to take 1 minute of final rest, Shavasana. allowing the benefits of your practice to settle into the body. Start to deepen your breath. Starting to find some gentle movements in your fingers and your toes. If there's any stretches calling your name, go ahead and take them. Eventually rolling over to your right side, making a little pillow for your head with your inner arm, and just pause here. So just really allowing your body to feel its connection to the earth. From that connection to the earth, rise yourself back up to a seat, just like we started, palms down on your thighs. Eyes soften closed, feeling whatever is touching the earth or your chair, touching the earth or chair. Letting the breath fill in from that stability. Drawing your hands in a gesture of prayer at your heart, bowing your chin into the wisdom of your heart. The light in me sees and honors the light in all of you. Thank you so much, community. If this practice was helpful, I would super duper recommend the next time you're feeling unstable to just feel whatever's touching the earth. Or if there isn't a lot touching the earth, maybe come closer to the floor, maybe settle your feet down. It can be a really strong physical reminder to let the earth hold you up, to feel the earth underneath your feet. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Grand Park, for having us. We're so grateful. I'll see you again real soon.